So not just the people on stage, and it doesn't not just like X amount of people are on stage doing this. But for me, that means like I want to learn how to do a better audition, and then if the role is earned, I can do better doing the role than I did in the audition. So growing off of it.
Okay. Any of you make note of or think about directing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I should put how to direct better.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd really like to write my own play at some point, and I don't know if I could pull off directing it as well
Right.
as writing it.
Okay.
But it's kind of in there.
How to like get things going efficiently and also like move people forward without getting mad at them.
Right.
And like giving constructive notes that, because middle schoolers are sensitive.
Yeah.
Well, that's a constructive criticism is a good one.
Yeah. I mean, we'll kind of talk about that when we talk about directing, but directing, I think it's interesting that I've never met two directors who work the same way. So you almost have to observe different people and how they go about it, and maybe a good resource for that specific need is a good middle school teacher.
Yeah. I
You
talked
know,
to
somebody
Miss-
who's used to working with middle schoolers and can walk that line, because that is a fine line.
It's
Yeah. They are sensitive, that's true.
I've only ever auditioned for plays and musicals, but I've never really been able to do like light and sound stuff. And
Okay.
It's still a part of the show, so it'd be really cool to try.
Okay, so just some technical experience.
I know this is a like personal thing, like every person does it differently, but casting
Yep.
can be real rough. And how to like differentiate each, because after a while they all start to blend together, you know.
Right.
So how to differentiate each person.
Okay, that's not good.
I've always been,
Yeah.
I've always been interested in like how high school directors pick their shows.
Okay. Well, and you'll kind of go through that in this class if you guys decide to pick a show. The considerations will be similar, you know, and you'll have the added bonus of knowing who's in it, which is not always what we get to
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
in advance. But yeah, that definitely can be part of the challenge.
The historical fiction and coming of age ones,
Okay.
because All My Sons was, I really enjoyed that one.
Okay. What else?
I said I really love plays with like a big interpretation factor, so it means something different for every person, and I love it when it doesn't all quite make sense until the very end,
Okay.
and you have to like you have to piece it together, and your like how you read it is different than everybody else's, and I also like I also like plays with like social commentary,
Okay.
like Bengal Tiger or All My Sons, stuff like that. I love those.
I like short plays. And by that I mean so
I thought too.
I read and listen to stories online, but they're kind of like scary stories, and there's some
Right.
that are like 5 minutes long. And for a while it just sounds like they're kind of rambling, and it's like kind of spooky, and it's not until maybe the last 15 seconds where it all comes together and you're like, whoa, like it's just, there's like this big shock factor. And so I enjoy like short films and plays and just stories in general where it's kind of, it seems like they're rambling on for a little bit, and it's not until the last paragraph or so where it all comes together and you really like get the full picture all of a sudden.
I really enjoy just the drama part of things. And
Okay.
I mean, like, if you have to pick if there's a line with comedy and drama, I like the fact that sometimes people will add comedic lines into really dramatic pieces.
because you have more problems that we know well today versus like,
Okay.
oh, you have to put yourself in a completely different time era to understand what's going on.
Okay.
Which is like, it's cool. You get that nice history and research aspect, but I like to be able to quickly relate.
Okay.
I guess that's the easy, short way.
Okay.
I like the contemporary dramatic ones. I find that I get more enjoyment out of plays for whatever reason that are kind of like older.
Okay.
I don't-
As far as like when they were written, not
Yeah.
necessarily set far back.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think an overall learning factor is just learning from your character's mistakes and then also looking into the story not as this happens, she gives her line, I give my line type
Right.
thing, but what it's about and what it's trying to reflect
Okay.
is a huge thing.
Showing other students and just people in general that like how much theater and some of that can do for the average person.
Okay.
Because I mean, for some people it might completely not help them at all, but for many others it does help them in a way. And that there's more to it than bright makeup and costumes on a lit up stage. You need to work with your cast or director or something like that. You need to form a personal bond in order for things to work.
Okay.
And that's a big takeaway that I personally had taken, because in middle school and elementary school, I would meet people and I would be friends with them over a long period of time. But since I started doing theater here, it's more of like, I'll be an extroverted person in the class and whoever feels like talking to me is welcome to. That kind of thing.
Okay. So kind of that shift in self almost.
Yeah.
Where the value is.
I think a big takeaway is the fact that I want to like get the message across to like your average person that doesn't know theater and doesn't understand everything that goes in, that like there's a that word that I can't say. There's a vulnerability to that, and to like being emotional on stage. And even though someone like may make fun of you, it's working past that, so you have integrity and like you become more emotionally in tune, I guess, and also like stronger almost. I feel like people in society appreciate like physical strength, which is why more people think that sports are better than theater. Just like having people see that there's work and sometimes pain that comes with it.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Just learning how to take steps to become a more successful person in a theater community. Not
Okay.
necessarily actor, just like getting out there, how to get jobs, how to approach the future. I
Okay.
guess.
And how to find them too, because you're not,
Yeah.
the casting calls are really something you're flipping through the paper for.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
With number one, I'd actually really like to learn a bit more about like writing plays, because I mean, there's so many out there, and like a lot of people look at, oh my gosh, this would be so cool to like produce and everything, but actually writing it is what catches my eye.
Right. Okay.
I said humanity and big mistakes because, after all, we're all human. And even though we just put on a show where it was practically perfect, imperfections are a big thing. Reoccurring themes that I like.
Okay. So are we talking like tragic flaws, or we're just talking people with normal problems that get amplified because
People with
the
normal
story.
problems that get amplified, or just like, I don't know. I keep on going back to All My Sons and how that was
Okay.
It wasn't. It was a big mistake, but it wasn't out of the human realm. If that makes
Right.
sense.
Yep.
So like a human problem that has a very bad ending.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I also put insanity
Okay.
from Bengal Tiger. All my sons improve. I think that's a big recurring
It's a
theme.
theme, right? I mean, what is it? What does it mean? Who is?
Everything.
Yeah. What else?
You have these characters, and they remind me of something in their past where they had a relationship, and now it's the after tensions and everything that
Yeah.
Was it
affect the story.
Was it like Miz when we were doing character work and you're like, you don't not have a relationship with anyone. Like every single person on stage, you
Yeah.
that. I really-
Yeah. You have to have a.
Whether if it's spoken or
Yeah.
not. I also put guilt,
Okay.
but I feel like that goes with the mistakes and imperfections.
Right.
I also put characters that represent optimism, like the gleaming hope in the world.
Okay. You looked at.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you did.
It's
The
good.
only
I
reason
like it.
The only reason I didn't read it is because I already
Yeah.
know it.
So, clean house, proof, monsters. Which one did you read? 4,000 miles or After the Revolution?
For those miles.
4,000 miles. Lost Lake. Almost Maine. Already got proof. Smokefall. Okay, so I looked at all your comments and stuff. So let's just. What is live in your heads right now as far as what you're thinking? What can we use? What can't we use? What would you like to do? Maybe now what you don't want to do, like once you've read stuff. So, round table, go. Wildly brainstorm. No right or wrong answers.
Oh, go ahead. You got it. Go ahead.
I like Smokefall, but it's got a few more characters than like we have in the class. So as fun as that would be to try and like swap out costumes that fast or whatnot. I like Proof because there's only 4 characters and it can easily work with all 4 of us.
Okay. All right. So those are possibilities with this one. We have to pull a creative cut, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What else?
For 4,000 miles, you suggested we do a polar piece. I was thinking that there's 4 characters, and 1 or 2 don't exactly fit us, but like you could make it. You could pull it off.
Right.
I think it would be cool if we did a 4,000 miles type thing where we don't do the entire thing, but we find 4 or 5. I don't even know how many scenes are. If we find a couple scenes and kind of do like a medley type thing,
Yeah.
so like you can do Leo coming like to New York, and then you could do something where him and the old woman are talking. You could do his huge monologue, and then have Amanda and Beck come in and do their scenes, and then have it end on the end scene.
Okay.
Just as like you know how medleys kind of
Yeah.
they're shorter, but they kind of blend it all together.
Yeah. So we'd just be splicing it a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So probably similar to Proof. Honestly, we have to be creative, but we could slice. Okay. What else?
I thought She Kills Monsters, right?
Yeah.
Was like really cool and different. It was really modern, almost. I think. The only thing is more characters than what we have. And the only reason we could maybe take like a few scenes from it, but I feel like a lot of the like big scenes are when they're in the game. So that's 1, 2, 3. Because it's like the ogre, the elf, the demon, sister, reader. That's already like 6 people
Right.
during the game scenes, and that's when you find out a lot about the plot and a lot about the sister. That's like when everything happens. So that's the only reason I wouldn't take stuff from that. otherwise I think it would fit the class. It has that like dark humor. It's really funny, honestly, but there are like those emotional peaks that you want.
Okay. What else? Camille, what do you think about Almost Maine?
It was a good book. It was pretty weird, so I liked it. But there's just some parts I did not like.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, I did not like those. But the rest is okay. It was creative. It was good humor. It was okay.
So if you look at, these were all the notes from when we chatted that first day. So if you're looking at the stuff that we talked about as kind of overall goals and themes that we were interested in, what does that make you feel like as far as what we want to do? Like, do we want to do 2 separate pieces? Do we want as a group to create one piece? Like, what are you feeling like? What's going to get us to our goals? Which was, in general, all of you wanted to try a little bit of everything. Everybody wanted to improve acting, right? And everybody wanted to have more time to work on stuff. What are you feeling like the scope of that project should look like?
I feel like we could do 2 different scenes with it because they could be totally contrasting, yet they can still work around what we're all interested in.
Okay. Interesting. It's an interesting thought. We want to do 2 totally different pieces.
Did we
Kind of
look,
like
did we look at anything comedic? Is there anything that is comedic?
No, I mean, a lot of them combine some comedy with serious themes, but I didn't hand you slapstick. I definitely did not. I have some.
I know the most comedic parts of She Kills Monsters is like just that sibling relationship where it's like,
Kind of witty comedy.
yeah. I mean, they call her Astrid, right? Astrid the ass had it. Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The Colonel and Smokefall is just weird. But it's like it's
And also
his
funny.
memory. It's the memory that makes it really funny for his character.
Yeah. And there's witty humor in 4,000 Miles,
Mhm.
but just not slapsticky.
Yeah, it's more like, in 4,000 Miles, it's more like when you're pissed at your dad and you kind of like throw something at him.
Yeah. And you end up laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And same with Almost Maine, really. It's not like slap your knee laugh, but there's some funny bits.
Like the awkward beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, the awkward beginning or the falling off of the coolers and the falling scene. Or hitting him over the head with the irony board scene.
I personally like the idea of like one just because that's my preference. I like a continuous storyline, but I wouldn't say no to doing like the 2 contrasting scenes.
So by contrast then, I mean, it's be hard to find with 4 if we wanted to do something really comedic. Is that what we're thinking? Like we want to do a silly versus a serious? Or we just want to do 2 totally different kinds of stories?
I like the idea of the story instead of like
Being different?
I think
Because
maybe
we could read some slapsticky comedies, but casting them, then we're definitely piecing out scenes. You know, most comedies you need 6 or 8 people to pull off, so the whole story would probably not be feasible, but we could pull scenes. I'm thinking about leading ladies, and that opening train scene is pretty funny, but then there's only a couple of people in it.
Yeah.
So that'll kind of change the tempo of what we're doing if we do that big of a contrast, which is fine. That's up to
I
you
think that
guys.
would give you the acting range that you all wanted.
That you guys
Because
talking about.
Yeah, acting isn't about just like nailing one thing. I feel like it's more of the experience and all, you know. I mean, you can have your like favorites and your specialties, or what you're good at, but
Right.
if we did the two different stories, would we take like, if they're both dramatic pieces and like two contrasting stories, would we take like a Woody piece from one, like the dark humor part of one, and then the like super intense emotional parts of another?
Well, that's what I would say. So let's just look at, so the easiest ones to piece are these two. Cast Size is perfect. Both of them have a strong enough storyline, right? You can subtract things and they won't fall apart. If you did that, then yeah, you would have to look at, okay, to me then, After the Revolution's 4,000 Miles is much wittier, right? I mean, this will end up feeling lighter than this one will. So, that is a pretty big contrast. They're both dramatic pieces. They both have some pretty chunky roles. Proof, we have to change the dad to the mom,
Yeah.
which would be fine. I can't think right now, as many times as I've read this, why that would be a problem.
You can easily change the nature of Roberta.
Yeah, I don't think it would matter. There's absolutely no references to him being male in the entire show, except that
I'm
he's
pretty
the
sure they
dad.
don't even call him Mr. It's Doctor,
No,
right?
Yeah.
So
So that's an
President.
easy fix. In 4,000 Miles, I think the only thing we'd have to do is pull the really mature scenes. There's like two of them that we either have to tweak or cut down. So those are easy. Now, so my challenge to you is this. I may already have copies of this one, but I can give you all a copy of both, have you look through it like with a fine-tooth comb, and then do you also want me to give you a slapstick comedy that you can do the same thing to? And then we decide, do we want to
Between
like
those
go
three.
comedy drama, or do we want to go drama?
you're already decided.
You know, I think that these are great to settle on as far as two solid choices, but we did not read comedies yet.
I just feel like comedy would be hard to piece. Like you said.
It may, but then that's going to mean like, let's do the whichever one, the heavier one, and then you have like half an hour of super light funny.
I have a question. I guess I'll ask you guys first. Do you guys, I know you're pretty much okay with monologues, right? Are you two, like, how comfortable are you guys with being up on stage delivering your own monologue?
Oh,
I've actually gotten better over the course of the 3 years trying out for plays and musicals. I've gotten a lot better at it. I actually practiced for I don't even know how many months this year for auditions.
What
Yeah,
do you think?
it's been a lot.
It's an okay thing to do, it's just that I don't think all of them good on the stage.
If it's super long.
Yes.
Okay, I gotcha.
Was
So, I thought of something interesting that would be kind of like an experiment in a way,
Yeah.
where you somehow evaluate all 4 of our strong points, and then you give us a monologue and see what we do with that.
Yeah, which is fine. Do you want to do that for that performance, or do we want to do that for your final exam? Because remember, after your final, so we have the performance on May 18th. After that, we have 2 weeks. Generally, it's monologue work. So we could do both. I mean, you could switch up. That's what I mean about May 18th. Right now, it's totally up to you guys. Like, what do we want to do with that window? Doesn't matter. And then we could do larger scenes for your final. You know what I mean? We could flip-flop if you'd rather do that. Up to you. Or a little bit of both. Doesn't matter to me. Because we also may have, like, what if we get another 10-minute play submitted and we decide we need to do that?
Because I'm wondering.
Have there been submissions?
I haven't posted anything to get submissions, but I should be doing that this week.
Okay.
So,
Because I'm wondering if we could do something like maybe a few of us are more comfortable with being with someone else on stage. If they could do a 10, 15-minute scene, and then whoever is ready or is comfortable with doing something on their own, that they could also do it that night.
right. Could be, because it's generally right now a showcase.
Mhm.
That's what it's called.
I just thought it was interesting to see, like, because with auditions here, we pick our monologue, we develop our character, but I thought it would be interesting if you gave us something and said, you develop this, don't change
Right.
it, this is yours now.
Right,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right. That'd be fun for me, so I'm
Yeah.
open to
It
it.
actually
I
doesn't
know.
sound too bad.
Like,
I
what's
know
happening right now?
When Katie was in theater performance, didn't you guys do like the coming of age women? I remember like a monologue about the paper dress and
Yeah.
getting your period. And,
That whole show is monologues.
oh, okay.
So we did a cut down version of that show. Yeah, we did. Was that Love Lost and What I Wore?
Yes.
Yeah, we did that. Whole show was monologues, and we just like cafe'd it. You know, they had
Yeah.
stools, and they had.
Mhm.
If they panicked, they had their script.
Mhm.
That was a lot. That was a lot of memorizing. Several monologues.
So maybe not.
I mean, I thought it was cool. It was like a totally different vibe. Had that like nightclub feel. They were just on the stools with some cool lighting and
It kinda
microphones. They all
reminded
had individual mics and
Like a
it was
speakeasy.
cool. Yeah. Yeah, like an open mic but not.
Yeah.
It's karaoke night. No,
Yeah.
it's monologue night.
Totally another option.
Just like a monologue heavy play.
If you picture it like a cabaret or what I Wish Follies was,
Oh,
you could do a short scene, you could do a monologue, you could do a couple read-alouds, you could do, you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff could all be there. You could do like, what do you call them? The choral reading. You know, a planned thing with blocking changes and choral readings, they get to keep their scripts as well.
I feel weird doing whole reading.
yeah.
I've tried it a couple times, and I feel like it's a weird vibe I get.
Yeah.
Even watching it, it's like I don't know how I feel about it.
I personally don't like acting with scripts. I just feel like it gets in the way, and then
I
I just like
also
I
don't.
don't
Like
know what
you're
to do.
yelling at
Yeah.
You're either yelling or being
Yeah.
really loud directly at paper.
We hug now.
Right.
Imagine doing Mary Poppins with everyone holding their scripts and all their music.
So, all right, now we have 20 ideas on the table.
Oh,
Oh boy.
Thoughts? What are our next steps?
how do we want to be able to use? I feel like a big thing is like no scripts. Get that decided, and then that'll like piece things out. You know.
I think so your goal, you have to go back to your goal. If we're focusing on acting specifically, then you don't want your scripts with you. If we're focusing on trying to share a particular piece, say it's a monologue, say it's a series of monologues, in addition to that, then you maybe want that crutch. But I think you've got to focus in on the goal. Like if the goal is acting, you want to get rid of this
Yeah.
because you get stuck on it, and then there's no
Honestly,
way.
I feel like if I had it memorized, I would end up acting differently. I wouldn't be messing with my hands or something while holding onto the.
Right.
I didn't use my Miss Andrew voice until I got my libretto out of my hands.
Yeah.
Right.
Cause yeah.
When you're able to like look out off the stage, it gives you like a different sort of like adrenaline energy type thing.
I also feel like it's kind of like a subconscious thing, but when you're reading lines, you have to stay in between those lines. It's like you're confined in a box, whereas once you stop reading it, you start feeling it. And I don't know if any of what I just said made sense.
Well, I think it's hard too when you're worried about the line. It's hard to react to the scene part. that helps us set up our goals and you know what piece do I have to be working on or pieces, and then what you want to do for your final. What's the priority? If you have an audience on the 18th, what do we want to be showing that audience? And then for finals, you won't have an audience unless we invite people.
I like the idea of doing monologues that you pick with the characters, but at the same time, I like the idea of showing off, like doing the scenes as well, because then it would show a variety of different things with acting that could get a lot of people hooked on it.
Okay?
What if? Because I know proof has like monologue moments.
Yeah, they're not terribly long.
No. But what if we're gonna splice something together, what if in those slices we include just like a short little monologue for each of us, while still
Right.
not disrupting that story? I mean, it kind of depends on
So
how
sort
we
of like
slice it.
breaks.
Yeah,
Is that what you're thinking?
maybe. I don't know.
Are you saying like you do a scene and then you take a break from proof to do a monologue?
No, I'm saying you like do a scene from proof and then take a monologue from proof to keep the story driven and going. That's only if like it slices together
Right.
well.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm looking at this scene, so the scene where Catherine and her dad argue about the spaghetti.
Yeah.
I love that scene, but you don't really need it.
Yeah.
You could just have Robert's monologue where he's visibly losing it.
Yeah.
You know, so you can have the scene before, then you have the dad losing it, then the scene after, and you've just cleaned up, 20 pages. So I think you could. Catherine's got a monologue, Hal's got a couple small monologues.
Small ones.
Does the sister have any?
Does 4,000 miles have?
4,000. Do you know Pierce's monologue about the chicken truck and the bicycles?
Oh, I don't remember it. No.
It's a very good monologue.
I may have to shove that down his throat just a little.
It's a massive 3-page monologue about how his friend Mike had died because they're going on this cross-country like bicycle trip, and they see a Tyson truck full of chickens come by, and it crashes, and the dude gets buried and suffocates in mud because of what called the chickens on top of him.
Ooh.
It's a dark monologue, but the
Yeah, I
entire scene.
remember when he did that one.
It's crazy too because the entire scene it's not stage dark, it's dark, lights out,
Yeah.
and it's just Leo talking to
Oh.
It's
not even like a spotlight. Is it like blackout?
it's like I think there's a window
Yeah.
with like outside light coming in, but you just see their silhouettes, and it's just the story of how his friend died. It's crazy.
Oh my God, it's such a great monologue. Because it's also
I
funny.
can like
Yeah.
It's really funny. Like 3 pages.
I could really imagine that on stage right now.
Like he cracks little jokes here and there. And like, oh, I thought he's wearing he has his camera over there.
Yeah.
Like he's just talking about how he
Yeah,
thinks he's a
and
great
he
photographer.
makes a joke about the chickens and
Yeah.
how surreal it was.
That
It's a really
sounds so
good piece.
I'm
good.
surprised you don't remember Pierce's monologue.
Huh?
I
Pierce
remember
did
that one. It
monologue,
was so
like,
funny.
3 times in 1 year.
Oh my gosh.
He did it at kickoff. He did it at auditions.
That was so.
Here's the thing about
crazy.
Pierce
The only
is
reason why I haven't
I
Wow.
picked up because it was so different.
I blocked Pierce out. Not gonna lie.
Who's Pierce?
Here's who?
He went to Chicago, and I don't.
Master Tsunade who?
It wasn't like a lot of auditions. I'm so nervous about my piece that I don't.
Pay attention to others.
And I'll remember it up until the end of auditions. I'm like, oh, you did really good. That was hilarious. I think it was Lolly's I Farted in Yoga class. Like, I pay attention to that one. But beyond that, I don't remember what it's about
Yeah.
or anything.
That's why I think doing
That's why I suck at casting.
that's why I think doing the scenes and monologues work because
Yeah.
obviously you know a lot of good monologues.
Right.
And if you give us good monologues and we pick good scenes, that would kind of have like it wouldn't only show the individual's acting technique, but it would also show how they work with one another on
Yeah.
stage. scenes from proof and then monologues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
For the showcase.
Mhm.
And then would our final be monologues again?
Then we gotta come up with something for